Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to edit sunset photography. So I have this image right here, and it was taken on an ocean, beautiful sunset in the background. And so what I want to kind of show you guys are the two things that really make a sunset photo stand out. And number one, that is contrast, and number two, that is color. Those two things, if you can get those two things right in your photos when taking sunset photos, you're definitely going to come out with a very, very awesome photo. And so I have this photo right here, and what I want to do is I want to actually decrease a little bit of the contrast in some of the spots. And so in the water right here, it looks great, but I want to take out a little bit of the contrast in the sky here. And so one way to do that, just to do it in the sky, is to take my adjustment brush, and I'm going to take the contrast slider, I'm going to bump that down a little bit, and I'm just going to paint over the sky. So you can see right here. Now this might not work exactly for your image, but the sky up here was very, very contrasty, so I want to just tone that down a little bit, but I don't want to touch the water here because the water actually looks really great. And so that's why I'm using an adjustment brush. So now let's go off of the adjustment brush, and you can see that kind of flattens out the sky, which will allow me to have a little bit better color editing. And so this is where the color part comes in. We have the colors that we can choose here in the HSL. We can individually choose the colors to make those pop a little bit more. But what I like to do starting out without touching the color is go to the vibrance and saturation. And so saturation mainly affects all the warm colors. So the reds, the yellows, the oranges, that kind of thing. So as I bump this up, you can see the oranges popping right here, and it's getting a little bit too bright. And so I don't want to touch that as much. But the vibrance actually controls most of the cooler colors. So you got your greens, blues, purples, magentas. So as I'm bumping that one up, you can see that most of these oranges aren't being touched, but the blues and purples are definitely being touched. So you can see if I'm just playing around with those, I don't want to bump them up too much because I don't want to start making the colors look a little muddy. And so this is a little bit overdone, but it kind of gives you the example of what I'm talking about. Saturation, a lot more oranges, a lot more reds. Vibrance, a lot more blues, a lot more purples. So that's something to think about when you're editing your skies. Do you want to make the oranges highlight a little bit more, or do you want to make the blues highlight a little more? So I'm going to take the saturation, turn that all the way to where it was zeroed out. But all I want to do is concentrate on the blues and purples. So I'm just going to bump the vibrance up a little bit, and you can see how that works. So another thing with the color, one of the last things that you can do to kind of help with the color, minus doing the HSL panel down here, is actually use your temp and tint. So I'm just going to take my temperature up a little bit and my magenta up a little bit. And doing that will actually allow to tone down some of the oranges and the yellows. So let's look at the before and after here, just with a couple quick edits. This one actually gives a little bit more cool, moody feel to it. It actually makes it look a little bit more like sunset, which is actually what I'm going for here. This one's definitely great, but I wanted to make it stand out a little bit more, giving the colors a little bit more rich. And if I wouldn't have taken the contrast in the sky down, this would have been way too overdone. So that's just a couple things to think about. Contrast and color in your sunset photography images. They definitely help out, and they definitely will make your colors pop a little bit more, make them stand out a little bit more. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick little tutorial. Head on over to sleeklens.com for more photography tutorial, Photoshop actions, Lightroom presets, all that stuff. This has been Jordan from sleeklens.com, and I'll see you in the next video.